Corser on pole, Toland, Max Neukeusner. Troy Corser on pole position, gets a flying start to race 2 here in the Czech Republic. Round 7, World Superbikes race 2. Corser it is, legs it to the front, and Norik Arbe makes a fantastic start from the 3rd row of the grid. Norik Arbe absolutely plummets his way through into 2nd place off the line. Chris Walker again gets a bit bundled out of commission, and the 2 Ducatis haven't made such a great start this time either, but Carl Muggeridge is also up there in 3rd place.
That's Haga inside with everything locked up.
Nori Haga had a big moment then going into turn 3. Ooh, Daisy, he's not the only one having big moments. But somehow Haga is still there and involved. Lanzi, number 57, again has got a poor start in mid-pack. Vermeulen also a bit lazy off the line, but the man at the front at the moment is Troy Corser. And he's led everything but that 2nd and that 1.5 laps of laps 2 and 3 that we had in the first running of this race. Muggeridge is 3rd, 4th and 5th the 2 Ducatis.
And this is just what Stalker didn't want. He hasn't made the start he wanted, he hasn't made a Stalker start, he's not with the leaders, and if he doesn't do something about it fairly sharpish, they're going to be away.
Chris Vermeulen there, desperately trying to find a way through. He's made a shocking start from 4th place on the grid.
Side his way backwards to about 12th, I think.
Corser at the front, Arbe, Muggeridge, Toland, Ducati. Andrew Pitt's made a good start as well on the other Yamaha Italia bike. He's got Walker right behind him, Neukeusner, Haga rounding out the top 9, 10th Kageyama, you were almost right, 11th Vermeulen, and in 12th place the baby-faced assassin Jose Luis Cardozo, who's the subject of plenty of protests at the moment and has caused 2 guys to not start the 2nd race.
And Stalker's trying really desperately to get on terms with the leading, say 3 or 4 he really needs to be with now.
He's cut underneath Andrew Pitt going into the left hand. And he says to Pitty, sorry mate, I need that room.
He probably didn't.
And Nori Haga's right back there with the 2 of them. Nori Haga, after that big moment earlier on, has got himself, look at that, and Stalker's actually in 6th place now, so he's got the Ducatis ahead of him. He's got something in his sights as Muggeridge sweeps across the front of Norik Arbe and then collects the Tenkate Honda back, and just to say holds on round the outside. Wild bit of riding by Carl Muggeridge, but it works.
It works, his bike's already moving around wildly though, the rear just doesn't look to be developing much grip at all.
11 Corser, 31 Muggeridge, 3 Arbe, and there's number 55 Regis Laconi dipping underneath his teammate at Xerox Ducati. That of course is James Toland. Stalker's next, and then Nori Haga has burst through past his teammate. I think Frankie Killy might be in there as well. Neukeusner, beg your pardon, Neukeusner's in there. Killy is well downfield at the moment, but he'll probably show strong later in the race. And Gianluca Visiello, the man who's R1 caused this rerun, is also back in the race, presumably on his spare bike, James.
And presumably he's got a really quick mechanic that works on engines very well. 10 minutes he can change pistons and crank.
You were saying earlier how good mechanics are in demand.
He would be in demand if he could fix that in time for the restart, I'll tell you.
Chris Walker and Nori Haga, 2 men who know no holds barred racing intimately, getting to know one another intimately. But Corser is still at the front, followed by Muggeridge, who's made a particularly bright start, especially in contrast to his teammate. And look at Walker now coming up threateningly onto the back wheel. You were saying earlier, that Kawasaki, it turns. Man, it turns.
Yeah, it does. He's really comfortable with the front end. He seems to be able to go in from really wide and still make the apex.
Corser through the shimmering heat, close to 30 degrees centigrade here. Corser leads. Alstara Corona Suzuki ahead of Muggers, Arbe, Laconi, Toland, and Haga looking again at the inside. And look at this, there's 2 more Suzuki and Hondas, other Suzuki and Hondas locked in battle. Kageyama 71 and Vermeulen 77.
That's way down for Vermeulen.
So surely that's to do with his muffed start rather than the fact that levelling out the bike isn't working for him. Here he comes now, trying to get through, but Kageyama just holds his line and blocks him through turn 1. And then they flick left through turn 2. Look at Toland scythed his way across that curb you've been trying to tell him to use, and straight underneath Regis Laconi. And look at that, it's put Laconi back 3 places. Laconi is back behind Haga and Walker. That move must have shocked him so much he tries to get back under Norrie, but Norrie's not having it. Wow. So that was a moment, a big moment that Toland caused there for Laconi. Oh, Norrie Haga gets the better of Walker.
And Toland's desperate now to get on terms with the front three. He really needs to be doing that at this stage.
Do you think he can? He's got a bit of clear track there.
I think he can. The way he went in the middle to end of the first race, I think he can.
There goes Haga. I actually wanted to see a rerun of Toland's take on Laconi to see how it duffed him off so badly that he lost ground to the other two as well. Now he's right back with Chris Walker. They had a terrific ding-dong for second place in the first race. Muggeridge, I don't know what he's done to his bike between races, but it certainly things look a lot happier for him in this race. And he did indicate to our camera, didn't he, that little rollover movement with his fingers when he was on the grid, as if to say, got to waken up, boys and girls.
Yeah,
Get moving. Look at Haga, how aggressive is that little guy? We know that he's a relative flyweight now to what he was at the beginning of the year. The Yamaha seems to be going better, and isn't he a wonderful racer? I love people like you who couldn't qualify but could race.
Yeah, he's a true racer, is Haga. I mean, he's qualified way as far as we've seen him down ever. He's qualified for this meeting, and look where he is in the race.
David Checker there, the younger brother of Carlos, on the GMT 94 World Endurance Champs winning Yamaha. He's well downfield, but up at the front, Corser leads from Muggeridge, Arbe, and really James Toland, he has to find a way past Norrie Arbe, but Arbe's looking comfortable. There is Frankie Killy, our first real glimpse of him in this race. Once again, starting solidly but unspectacularly, giving himself a lot of work to do, but seems to have the experience to know that he can do something about the guys in front of him. Just behind David Checker, in fact, on the GMT 94 R1.
Yeah, but it's so annoying for Killy when he can come strong at the end. And I mean, he had rostrum potential at the end of that last race if he'd have got going maybe 3 or 4 laps earlier. But yet he doesn't seem to be able to do it till it's too late.
Corser, Muggeridge, Toland about to get done by Norrie Haga, and he does. Haga goes through, and do you know what one of the things is with Haga? What did I say in the first race? Norrie Arbe is ahead of him.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it.
No, he doesn't. No.
It's the race for top Japanese rider is the most important thing to do, these two guys. It's been right through the season like this. So James, what can he do about these guys? He can't afford to get rattled backwards by them.
No, he can't afford to get sucked into another fight when the leading 2 or 3 are going to get away.
No, Kirshner's looking good. He's looking a bit more comfortable in this race. He's not shedding places quite as fast as he did in race 1.
And while all this is going on, Corser's eking out a little bit of lead.
He's just easing away, isn't he? There's nobody there who's able to press him like the Ducatis looked as if they could do. Haga turning tight. You know how tight that man could turn a bike. He almost overturned it then, but he's got Norrie.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe. Oh, they touched each other, and Arbe has to give. Oh, that was a moment, wasn't it?
That was a hard move, really, because Arbe was on the outside, which would have put him up the inside on the next right-hander and would have put him back in front, but they almost touched and that put him back.
Norrie made sure. He may have shed a few. Yeah, he may have shed a few pounds, but he's not shed any aggression. That's for sure.
He's shed 20 pounds in the last 2 months, apparently.
It's pretty impressive, and he looks almost wrong. We're used to seeing that little face. Do you remember when the lovely Ren Hiscott first set eyes on him a couple of years ago? She said we ought to market a cuddly toy of him. He looks less cuddly now. James Toland has got the better of Norrie Arbe, so he's trying to follow through, and look at this performance from Haga. Mayo Marigali will be jumping up and down with glee. He's through into second place.
Oh, easily through into second place, without even a fight for a Muggers.
So Toland, 4th. In between him and the leader, we've got Norrie Haga and Carl Muggeridge. So right now there's Suzuki, Yamaha, Honda, Ducati. And look at that man, Walker. He's still holding off number 55, Regis Laconi, who looked so impressive in race 1.
Well, I tell you what, Haga said he could do this. I spoke to Mayo Marigali this morning, and he said that Haga was confident if he could get away with him on race tyres, he could run at the front. That's somebody down.
And at last, justice has been seen to be done, and Jose Luis Cardozo,
yeah,
the villain of the piece, is out of the race. The villain of every piece is out of the race. And here's Troy Corser, still in the lead, howling downhill. I wonder if, would you bet that Norrie Haga could do anything about him, or is that really asking too much?
I'd like to think so. It'd make a fantastic race in the front, and he is actually getting away. but
Yeah.
whether he can actually go and catch Corser is another thing.
Toland, God, Toland will be unhappy with things because he was hoping to, he was really hoping to convincingly challenge for a race win in this second outing. And at the moment he's locked down in 4th place with Muggeridge ahead of him, Arbe behind him. And of course, don't forget, Muggeridge and Toland have a little bit of history simmering on from Phillip Island.
Oh yeah, and I tell you what, I can't wait to see if he doesn't finish on the rostrum, how upset Toland's going to be, because he was upset with a fantastic second. I mean, I thought he rode fantastic in the first race.
Neukircher leading the second swarm of riders here around Brno. And Walker seems able to hold off Regis Laconi.
Yeah, this is Haga's pass on Toland. And within a couple of corners, he was past Muggeridge then.
And that was that hard pass. Oh, he sat Arbe up, didn't he, mid-corner? Come on, Norrie. Why, that would be something, wouldn't it, if in their 50th anniversary year, the Yamaha managed to get a World Superbike win. Stalker, PSG1 Kawasaki, he's really on the pace this weekend. What is it about this racetrack, James, that so suits the Kawasaki?
I've no idea.
Oh, just at that moment he gets taken by Regis Laconi, unlocks his defences.
It's a fast-flowing circuit, really.
So it favours bikes that don't need to pick up, that don't need that sort of that torque that they might struggle with out of the slower turns.
I think more than that, in the handling department, it's the fact that Stalker seems fairly comfortable and settled with the front end, and it is a front-end circuit. A lot of the corners are off-camber, downhill, uphill, and bumpy, some of them, and he seems really confident with the front end, and that's what the difference is, I think.
Now, you said that Stalker anyway favours the front end as a racer.
He does, he's a front end rider. Yeah.
Toland's lost to Norik Arbe. That is a surprise. Toland's struggling a little bit.
And look at this. Haga, he's going to be, if he carries on like this, he is going to be able to catch Corser.
Norrie Haga, can you believe it? The man who first stormed into World Supers in 1998 with that dazzling double race victory at Donington Park. Boy, did we sit up and take notice then.
That's good also, just touring back to the pits. Keep out of his way, lads.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say he could cause a lot of damage even from there.
He's still dangerous.
Come on, Norrie. You used to call him the Haga lout when he carried a bit more weight. I don't know whether we still can now, but a lovely father and husband who's of 2 lovely little kids and still enjoys the high life whenever possible, as well as the life of a dad. Look at Lorenzo Lanzi, making sure that poor Chris Vermeulen, who's right down in the pack, has nowhere to go. Vermeulen in 10th place, with Killy now threatening, and Andrew Pitt has slipped to 12th. Well, and I tell you one thing, of that gang, it's Killy who'll be making progress. Toland getting pressed once again by Regis Laconi, who's taken a long time to regroup.
And I think it's fair to say that whatever changes were made to Vermeulen's bike haven't worked.
It is looking a little bit that way, isn't it?
And Haga is right with Corser now, Jack.
Oh, this is just great.
Fantastic.
Wonderful to see Haga and Yamaha and Mayo Marigali, who's had his ups and downs with Norrie Haga this year. I mean, the guy's not that easy to work with. We know that from Mark Griffiths having to struggle with him at Renegade and all his little personal preferences last year. But has Mayo got used to the fact that Norrie's not a qualifier and that they can see light at the end of every tunnel every race weekend?
A little bit of that, but in actual fact there's always a reason why he can't qualify, and the bike was not unrideable, but
he's broken the lap record, 2 minutes 3.747, a new lap record here at Brno. He's broken that lap record set by Troy Corser in race 1. How is that?
Yeah, and that proves that it's not just Corser that's going slow while Haga's catching him, it's Haga that's actually putting some laps together, some fast laps.
When they were on the grid change, you were pointing out to me how how Haga, the Yamahas are running those beautiful Öhlins gas shock front forks. And
yeah.
They were the kind of new 05 ones that Stalker actually wasn't able to get on with the Kawasaki. Look, here comes Haga. He just sticks it underneath the so far invincible Troy Corser, and suddenly, out of nothing, he was originally 18th on the grid. He actually got hoisted up to the dazzling heights of 16th because there were 2 non-starters ahead of him for the second race, has taken the lead.
That is something else. I can just imagine what's going on in the Yamaha Motor Italy pit now.
And I bet they're going balmy. Look at that, that was so tidy.
That was just so easy. past the man that's been untouchable all weekend and most of the season.
And he's looking, Corser's looking to retaliate. So Nori Haga turned 30 on March the 2nd, the man from Nagoya. He's the only man I've ever heard described. You know, these sort of these sheets you get that give the personal rundown on a guy. Colour of eyes, black. I think that's great. That's what gives him that extra special menace, isn't it? The black-eyed pea look.
And Arbe's still in front of Toland.
Arbe is making like this is the first time. Now, Norik Arbe's on a track he's very familiar with, James. And for the first time, he's looking like the racer we've always known he was.
Yeah, he's shown a little bit of promise early in the season, but not really what we'd expect.
Look at Norrie.
Didn't lift the throttle though.
Oof. Is that the way to get out of that situation, to keep it pinned?
It's the way to not lose a lot of time if you don't crash.
Nori Haga. God, when he's not doing this, he's snowboarding and jet skiing and stuff, living life to the full. And even indulging in a bit of beer and cigarettes, as those wonderful Japanese stars love to do.
He had his motorhome customised. Yep, that's his family.
There's the kids.
Yeah, and that was one of the girls that serve on in the hospitality unit as well. Watching, they obviously.
I tell you what, Signa Conzoni and those guys, they've deserved this.
God,
they've been working so hard. To see Nori actually running at the front with the Suzuki, that's fantastic and unexpected.
From 18.
And Arbe's making it Yamaha 1-3 at the moment with the Ducatis, and now Laconia's got the better of Carl Muggeridge. Muggers I think, is going to feel it possibly a little bit from the Kawasaki now that Stalker's got a line on him, a vision on him. What I was saying earlier, you said that Stalker, halfway through Valencia, resorted to the Öhlins front forks from last year.
That's right,
the conventional ones.
No, those are actually the gas shocks he's got. I could just see him going around. The gas forks, the nitrogen filled, and you will be able to get them perfect, but the lack of testing time meant that they weren't then as good at Valencia. They weren't then as good as the well set up forks from the previous year, the 04 forks. So Stalker immediately reverted halfway through Valencia to back to the 04 fork. But since then, everybody's tested more, and they've got to grips with a brand new fork, and they like them now.
So Chris Walker is using those forks. It's noticeable that Neukirchner's now behind his teammate, number 7, Frankie Killy. So the remarkable Killy is once again making strides through the pack in the middle of this race.
You'd think it'd be the other way around. The guy's 40 odd and beating about.
Yeah, but
you'd think he'd get tired and go backwards, and he doesn't. He just won't give up.
He's fit as well, you know.
Yeah,
We covered one of the Michael Schumacher charity football matches from Monte Carlo on Eurosport a couple of years ago. I did it with Dave Farrer, and I was really impressed with Frankie. He put in almost a full game with a lot of energy.
Yeah, no, he's
pretty impressive.
Look at this, Haga's going away.
I don't know whether he's going away, but certainly these two have broken away. But look at the way that Arbe has cleared off from the two Ducatis, and now Walker is being pestered by Lanzi.
Lanzi's had a good day.
A fantastic
day so far.
He's got, and I think he's got Chris Vermeulen and the two Claffey Hondas behind him.
Lanzi, reportedly the man who is being groomed
to replace
Ducati.
JT.
The story has just been groomed by Ducati to be part of some future with the firm.
He's 23 years old, so he's only a year younger than James.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I tend to think of him as the new kid on the block. Look at this. There's some terrific battles going on here, because although Arbe looked as if he was getting away a bit, but I think now perhaps the Ducatis are waking up.
Yep, I think so.
And they need to. And Christopher, as in Walker, you've got to sort out these guys behind you. You've got Lanzi, Vermeulen, Killy. But they're a pretty good trio of names to have around you. Lanzi's in good company there, so is Walker. Frankie Killy, chin on the tank. Arbe has now been just closed down a bit again by the Ducatis. Here goes Vermeulen. He tucks underneath Lorenzo Lanzi. I think Vermeulen's beginning to think, I've had enough of this. I've got to make a bit of a move.
He does need to wake up. Oh, and already the bike, Vermeulen's back there slid terribly from mid-corner all the way out the corner, and this early in the race, that can't be good.
But he's now just behind Walker. Can he do anything about it? It's great to see them slinging them through the right-hander straight into the left. round the long hairpin. That's at turn 7. Meanwhile, at the front, Noriyuki Haga.
He's got just over a second there, I reckon.
Pretty impressive ride. Abe, Toland.
Oh,
Vermeulen's gone well wide.
Yeah, what happened there was he tried to get up the inside of Stalker. Stalker came across the front of him. He had to run wide to miss the back of Stalker, and that's what happened.
So that was a legit racing move from Walker then, defending his line, or that was on his racing line.
Even over there, to be quite honest.
Fantastic ride by this guy, who back in.
And it'd be interesting to know if it came down to a last couple of laps sort out between Corser and Haga, how hard Corser would fight for it, being, you know, how much he'd risk is leading the championship.
Well, I tell you what has impressed me about him all season is that he's wanted to win.
Yeah,
and he's got into fights.
I was just going to say, he has really shown some mettle when it's come to that situation earlier this season.
And already Vermeulen has recouped a place from Frankie Killy after that mistake. And Toland as ever giving it everything. Look at those guys buried behind the fairings.
Yeah, what you don't realise is these bikes are really, really small, physically very small bikes. Big power, big engine CC wise. They're all 1 litre except for the FP1, which is 900. But physically they're very, very small bikes. These guys look giants on them, and they're not. Most of these guys are quite small. Certainly Stalker's smaller than me. He's a small fella, but he makes the bike still look small. He looks big on the bike.
The two Ducatis looking interesting variety of style. There's always a contrasted style when you see Norik Abe in the picture, because he rides like no other.
Yeah, real awkward style. Doesn't look like it's comfortable at all, but it works for him.
Comfortable for him, mate.
Yep.
That's the main thing. We used to sometimes think that when you used to stick your old giraffe neck out.
No, that wasn't comfortable. That was awkward. And he's still going away. That's about maybe 1.5 seconds now.
Nori Haga, All Japan Superbike champion in 1999. But remember, that was the year they stuck him on Michelin tyres as well, and he really did struggle a little bit that year after making such an impact in 1998.
Backmarker there didn't get a number, but he's looking around already, so I don't think he'll feature.
I thought for a moment it might have been Ben Bostrom in trouble, actually. Let's hope not. Troy Corser is just like holding station. No, it's number 59 actually who's being lapped, so it's not one of the it's not a person that we ought to be unduly concerned about. So the leader is Nori Haga, second place Troy Corser, then the gap back to Norik Abe, Norifume Abe even.
Oh, somebody's blown.
Yeah. Oh,
it's one of the clappy bikes, I'm sure. I'm sure it's Killy.
You would bet on it being Frankie, wouldn't you?
Well, that where it was went straight on there. So there's obviously oil on the. There's obviously oil on the tyre.
It's Max Neukirchner.
It's Neukirchner. That bike's
well,
blown.
there you are. Perhaps Killy's looks changed.
But it's still running.
So what's happened?
There was a lot of smoke pouring out that bike, and he's gone straight on, which would suggest to me that something's on the rear tyre, but it would appear to be still running.
Meanwhile, at the pointed end of things, we've still got the Ducati side by side as Toland makes another move on his teammate, but can't quite get under there. And notice that the rest of them are right with them, including Lorenzo Lanzi on the NCR Ducati.
This is a big scrap, this.
It's a big day for Lorenzo Lanzi. They've talked a lot about him being a promising rider, but this is quite a performance from him. And Frankie Killy hasn't blown his motor. He's now right on the back wheel of Chris Walker. I think Walker's going to be unlucky in the number of points he takes away from this race, because he's been involved in everything at the front end all the way through, but he's just not. He's got that many people in front of him, and he's not going to be able to get the points he perhaps warrants. But in the end, you've got to get over the line to do that. Lorenzo Lanzi, of course, part of that Karaki team that is a permanent testing hotbed for the factory Ducatis. I wonder if they let him test stuff and it works, do they let him keep it? Is that NCR Ducati actually bristling with
like
factory
handing
bits?
a wallet into the police? If nobody's claimed it in 3 months, you can have it some.
Here comes Chris Vermeulen trying to find a way through, but it doesn't look as if the changes he's made, that going onto that B construction front tyre, levelling the bike out by raising the front end, hasn't made a huge amount of difference to what that Honda's capable of.
If
Having
anything
said
worse.
that, he's edging up, like at least he's going forwards in this race rather than backwards, because he's just nosed his way underneath Lanzi.
Oh.
Oof. But Lanzi wouldn't let him have it,
tell
and he
you what,
loses a place, two places.
That was an unbelievably brave move by Lanza. You've got somebody on the outside, you've got somebody on your inside that if anything goes wrong, you're both going down. And he still just laid it right across. That's a hard move, that. You'd be a little bit upset, actually, as a rider.
What, that Lanzi did that to you when you had that inside line?
Yeah, he knew you were there, and he didn't leave any room.
Well, it certainly ruffled up Chris Vermeulen, because it's dropped him, although he's managed to get snapped straight back past Chris Walker, who didn't quite have the space to get through. It cost him in his battle with Killy. Arbe, remember, he's third, fourth Laconi, fifth Toland, sixth Muggeridge, seven Lanzi, eight now Frankie Killy there on the Team Claffey Honda.
And a classic freight train.
Classic freight train.
It is.
It is a bit good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't believe how good the Yamahas are around here, having struggled so much, and during qualifying.
I can't believe Haga at the front after qualifying 18th and just been well off it. What's this? Why are we seeing this?
Dear. Oh, that looked ever so gentle. That looked like someone at one of your Speed Freak track days. And it was Akam Badziak.
A lot more spectacular than our track days generally.
Yeah, I was going to say, and probably the leathers are rather more spectacular as well. I thought they were a fine pair of Joy Dunlop retros there he had on.
Still pulling away, that's up to about 3 seconds.
Isn't he riding a superb race?
Yep.
Like he looked leery early on, but now he's got to the front and established it himself. What I like about Haga is that slightly Jekyll and Hyde quality, because he can really ride smooth when he needs to.
Yeah, it's not when he needs to, it's just when it just strikes him. Just sometimes, and not even when it's most expected. He just rides unbelievably well, and then other times he's average.
Frankie Killy finds Muggeridge in his way a bit then, so kind of rides half round the outside of him. I suppose you just want to get out of somebody's wheel tracks to see if you can work something out. Lanzi again in front of Muggeridge, still having a great race. Look at them, four abreast. Oh, Vermeulen takes two in one.
Good move. Yeah, but Muggeridge will keep it going around the outside. No, he doesn't. Good move by Vermeulen, that.
So Vermeulen still, good to see him still riding with that Pale's determination. Fantastic, that pale-faced determination that he has. That was some move. Look at this. Bye-bye, boys.
Muggeridge will want that place back for sure from his teammate.
Yeah, having been the number one Tenkate Honda for so much of the race. But he's now got to deal with Killy as well. Frankie Killy, of course, we know must have had some terrific experience of this track, way back in his days as a World Championship motorcycle Grand Prix contender.
And these guys are definitely catching Arbe now, I reckon.
And now that would be normally. Where's Lanzi going? Oh, he's going up the inside of Toland.
No, he's.
Dear. Thought for a moment that looked a bit evil. Thought it was going to work. This is great infighting going on here. Give me an inch and I'll take 2.5. And what the man who's catching Arbe is, of course, Laconi. You know how strong he can get late in a race, and he's now on the move. Laconi is on the move, his lap times are dropping a bit, while Toland's having to fend off all comers, including Vermeulen. Oh, Lanzi just tucks back in before Carl Muggeridge can take advantage of him drifting wide on the entrance of turn one.
That Tenkate Honda is still quick. That was all done on the straight, that. Seeing Lanzi again getting a little bit wide, and I don't think he really wanted to go up the inside of Toland. I think he just put in a position where he had to sort of run that wide. It looked like he was going to do.
Look, that's Vermeulen. Well, I tell you what, the bike seems to be working better for him as the race goes on, before he's now seen to Toland.
What's happened to him? Because he was struggling going back.
Well, you know, the different choice of front tyre. Is the front tyre working better, longer for him?
Maybe, but why is it
starting
just
to work better?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Because now he really looks to be on the move. Tell you what, Lanzi has a lot of confidence in the front end of that Karaki Ducati.
Yeah, he's throwing it about everywhere, yeah, he is. He's got another real awkward style, doesn't really sit up much. He's always crouched down, even in the corners. Doesn't look a relaxed style at all, doesn't Lanzi?
Abe, he's third. The man looking to grab a rostrum position from him is number 55, Laconi, while the defending champion, James Toland, struggling a little bit mid-pack now. That's still got a snarling quartet of guys hounding him. There's the leader of them, number 57, Lanzi. Meanwhile, at the front, what's the gap here? It's dropped slightly. Corser is beginning to close back down on Haga. Is there going to be anything that he can do about this?
6 laps left and he's got 2 seconds.
Oh, and we know how. I think Corser's coming on it. I think Corser's getting a bit determined about getting back to the front here.
And Corser's bike, and these are on their own really, out the slipstream, is 6 Ks quicker than Haga's Jam. Oh, and that's Killy up the inside of Lanzi. Thank you. Young man.
Just let me your daddy through.
Yeah.
That's a great sight as they just rise over the brow underneath the Pirelli banners. And now Killy's going to make life miserable for Toland. That's certainly the impression you get. The beautiful sunshine here in the Czech Republic shimmering off the tarmac. Meanwhile at the front, the samurai of Slide is still holding on as we watch that move of Killy's underneath a slightly unstable looking Lorenzo Lanzi.
Yeah, Lanzi just slides it into every single corner, backing in everywhere. He's either shifting down the box. That's probably done with the back brake, to be honest, because now they've all got slipper clutches. It's difficult to do it on the gearbox.
Meanwhile at the front, Haga started his adult racing career as a 16-year-old back in 1991.
And that's really consistent lap times.
And at the moment he's being hunted down by the amazing Troy Corser.
I think that gap's gone up a little bit, Jack. I think it's back up to about 2 seconds now.
It feels a bit tense to me, I must admit. Haga in that beautiful distinctive Alpine star gear that he wears, and there's the beautiful distinctive fairing of the Alstara Corona Suzukis that have always had one of the best paint jobs in the paddock.
Yeah, also Corser in Alpine Stars as well.
One thing that has definitely changed for Haga with 4 laps to go, of course, is that the man we saw earlier with his helmet in the garage, Toshi Arakai, has come back as his manager, because Toshi disappeared for 2 or 3 years and his career kind of went off the rails a bit during that time.
Not just manager, friend, helper, babysitter.
Yes.
Goes and gets him drinks, gets his food. He just he's there generally, helping, doing all he can.
He's actually been amazing enough, you know. He's been on bikes since the age of 4. He bought a pocket bike by his dad when he was 4 years old, so he's got plenty of experience on them. Here comes Killy talking about plenty of experience. What is going on with James Toland? He just doesn't seem to be able to ride with the same. Well, no, having said that, he's straight back underneath the Claffey Honda, and Killy looks to respond and does.
Who's gonna have it? Ooh, Mr. Killy.
Wow. You could see James sticking that right knee out as far as he possibly could. So Killy, great ride by him. Notice Stalker still there, he's in 10th place. You think he's further up than that because there's so much going on right round about him. But Vermeulen has caught Regis Laconi. That's impressive. So Vermeulen obviously happier with the way the bike is riding this time than he was in the first race. The changes have finally started to benefit him, and coming all this way off a poor start as well, James.
And both of those riders catching Abe.
And I think that another thing Vermeulen is aware of is the fact that he lost ground to Regis Laconi in the championship table in the first race. And that, you know, that number 55 Xerox Ducati ahead of him is a major target.
Could do with just another look at the front, couldn't we?
We could do with another look at the front, please.
Just to check
what's going on there. Arbe is there in second. Here we go, right on cue. Thank you very much, Director Herders, for a change. And it looks like Noriyuki Haga still, you're so right, he has that 2.2 second gap as we cross the line. The 0.395 miles straight. And then braking hard into Gerrard's.
And 3 laps to go.
3 laps to go. What a fantastic ride. Wow, Lorenzo Lanzi's got the better of Toland. Oh dear, Toland is now dropped behind the NCR Karaki Ducati of Lanzi. And although Laconi's managed to cut down on number 3, Noric Arbe, I think it's more likely to be Vermeulen who can make the move here. He comes underneath the Ducati, he's through.
That he loves it there, does Vermeulen. He's made that move just about every pass has been just at that point.
Now I think Noric Arbe is going to have to summon up some fighting spirit here, because I really do think that Vermeulen's on a bit of a charge. He's on a bit of an adrenaline rush, and he looks coolly in charge.
Vermeulen is just about to give him the business in this next couple of laps.
He knows he hasn't got long to do it. And also, the more points he can pull back on Laconi, the better.
Yeah, if he can put Arbe between himself and Laconi, all the better.
And look at Killy. Look at Killy. He's now threatening Laconi. How does he do it?
I don't know. Maybe it just takes him that long to get his old bones warmed up and get going.
No, yeah.
Maybe he can't move early on.
Oh dear, it's so effective late on.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He's quick mid-corner is Killy. Mid-corner speed still brilliant. Sort of because of his old 250 GP bike riders generally. And that's Toland went so wide there. Killy's got to get a good drive out of that corner better than Toland, I would have said.
Was that Toland or
no,
number 55?
Sorry, yeah.
Laconi,
yeah.
Blimey neck, what is this back marker going to be? Problems with this back marker going to be causing? It looks like he should be. I think he's actually got lost, and he's part of the National Blood Transfusion Service.
Say, it looks like
here comes, look at that! Vermeulen finally gets the power down early coming out of the final turn and sweeps past Noric Arbe into 3rd place with 2 laps left. That's an amazing ride by Vermeulen. He went backwards all the way through race 1, and he's gone forwards all the way through race 2.
Yeah, he didn't do anything for a long time in race 2. It looked like he was going to go nowhere, and then suddenly he's got going, and
wow.
And he's worked hard for this one, though.
He has.
This is Killy up underneath Laconi. Has it worked? Yeah.
And the Ducatis, strange how the Ducatis are struggling here, when in the first race they really looked impressive.
Yeah.
And finished 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, they've gone nowhere this race.
It's bizarre. How do you explain changes like that? Is that just
and how
live
do you explain
sport?
Haga?
I don't know.
What's he done? What's he eating for dinner?
Yeah, have a word with Mayo about what he got fed. And that was all down to how he came out of that last turn. That was a brilliant move coming out of the last turn. The power was down early. The bike was tight, was 6 feet tighter than the Yamaha. So Vermeulen through to 3rd place. That's worth 16 points, but of course ahead of them all is Nori Haga.
That's 3 seconds or more now.
Troy Corser, clear championship leader, and now very much championship favourite. He's 2nd. 3rd, Vermeulen. 4th, Arbe. And Andrew Pitt in trouble.
He's still going.
It's still going, but
maybe
there's no drive, is there?
The gearbox got a chain then.
Frankie Killy still making progress, you know. He's got his eye on number 3, Noric Arbe, I reckon. I think he's thought, hang on, I've got the better of Laconi here. He's had a quick look over his shoulder and thought, no threat from behind. Let's see what we can do. Mind you, of course, we do know when Toland's now getting bothered by muggers. So Nitro Nori in the lead.
With 1 to go. I'll tell you what, this is going to be emotional, this.
It is. A guy who was a 10-year-old graduated onto 50s. But then he stopped racing bikes. You know, he went on to his. He had a great passion for radio-controlled cars. He did that for a couple of years. Never went near a motorbike.
Well, actually, when he was in I've seen him in the paddock before with a whole sort of bootload of remote-controlled cars on his motorhome. Yeah, loads of them, petrol-driven ones, glow plug stuff, electric stuff.
Yeah, when he turned 10, for the next 2 years, he did nothing else but play with radio-controlled cars. And then he was 13 when he returned to his first love on an SR50 Honda mini bike.
Yeah.
Norrie Haga. Nitro Norrie is back just in time for Brands Hatch, I'd say.
Yeah, he loves Brands.
And he loves the place. Look at Killy. Look at Killy. Killy, the proverbial rash all over the back of Norik Abe, is trying to find a way past the second of the Japanese stars who's in the frame this weekend in the Czech Republic. Oh, and he's holding a tight line. A tighter line.
He's got about 5 corners to do it.
And you know with Frankie Killy that he'll want to do it. Oh boy, will he want to have a go.
I think he will. I think he'll do it. And I think he'll do it perhaps down here now, into this big right.
That's got to be an opportunity, but look how late and classy Abe is on the brakes. Whoa, and there goes Toland losing out to Lorenzo Lanzi. Oh, just to make Toland's afternoon of misery full to overflowing. Here comes Frankie Killy, tries to get underneath. Oh, and Norik Abe wasn't having that, but it was only a millimetre in it. Uphill now, the uphill drive. Meanwhile, through the final turn, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the race winner at Brno in the second World Superbike race. It's Nitro Norrie Haga taking a blistering win for Signor Conzoni's Yamaha Italia.